morning, everyone. Welcome again to another episode of A Spoonful of Manna. Now, last week, what we took up had to do with the night parables or the mysteries of our dreams. And today, we're going to take up something similar to that. Like, we're going to dive deeper into it. In the Bible, particularly in Daniel chapter 2, we find this really interesting circumstance. You have King Nebuchadnezzar, a barbaric king, who has a dream, and he doesn't want to tell people what his dream was. Okay, he doesn't know the interpretation. And unlike Pharaoh in Joseph's time, who was telling people his dreams and just needed the interpretation, King Nebuchadnezzar was mum about the details of his dreams. And in a way, it was to test his magicians and astrologers, to see if they were really people who could unhinge unhinge heaven and reveal to him the mysteries of the unknown, of the unconscious mind. So what happened? So imagine King Nebuchadnezzar, like who of you can tell me my dream? If you don't tell me my dream, I am going to tear you apart and dismantle your homes. And really, part of what he said was that the Bible, and I will say this, no, here. This is King Nebuchadnezzar. If you do not tell me what my dream was and interpret it, I will have you cut into pieces, and your houses turned into piles of rubble. Now imagine the President of the United States or the President of the Philippines or whoever Prime Minister there is saying that because of a dream that was given to him. Yeah? And of course, the magicians and astrologers of the time, they were really astounded by the fact that they were asked of it. Who can tell? Which man will be able to tell you, O king, what your dream was? Like, we can interpret it, but to tell you what it is, that's something of the gods. And this angered Nebuchadnezzar. Because for once, he saw that everything, all these magicians that Babylon had, all these astrologers, they were just a sham. Like, did they really know what they were doing, what they were saying, if they couldn't even tell him what his dream was? And what he did next was, of course, to decree that everyone was going to be killed. Like not the whole populace, but everyone who was a magician and an astrologer. And it just so happened that Daniel and his friends were part of that bunch. They were learned. They knew the literature of Babylon. They were trained to become the wise men of Babylon. But then again, even in this time and age, who among us know what the dreams of others are? It's one thing to know your own dreams at night. It's another thing to know another person's dreams. Right? That's a mystery. So what does Daniel do? The amazing thing about Daniel is that he doesn't get all nervous, and like he doesn't tell his friends that, hey, let's flee this place. Oh, they were exiles already, But what he did was he knew that the God of heaven could unlock mysteries that no man can. So what Daniel did was he told Arioch, why did the Nebuchadnezzar say such a decree? Let me go to the king and I will tell him what it is. Okay, but of course Daniel knew that he had to ask God first. Like, God, what is this? What is this dream? So when he went to Nebuchadnezzar, he asked for time so that he might interpret the dream. And then he told his friends, and he and his friends went to God and prayed, asking God to reveal to them what the dream of Nebuchadnezzar was. Now, don't you find that amazing? Do we have that kind of faith when something of a national catastrophe can happen? Because it was a national issue. Imagine all the magicians, all the astrologers would be killed if Nebuchadnezzar wasn't to get his dream and interpretation from any of them. So it was a national issue. It was something that could have mortified, like scared the socks off of Daniel and his friends. But what did he do? What did they do? They went to God and they asked God to reveal this dream to them and to reveal the interpretation of that dream to them. Is nothing impossible? Nothing is impossible to God, right? And so what did God do? God revealed the dream to Daniel during the night. And so, that morning, he already knew what it was, and he was like, okay, I am going to go before the king, and I will tell him what his dream was, and I will tell him the interpretation of this dream. Now, we're going to stop there because I want us to draw out certain points from this. Number one, we have a God who cares for the well-being of our lives, not just our souls, but really our lives. Daniel was in a death and life situation, and God had a destiny for Daniel, and the key to that destiny was the knowledge of a dream and the interpretation of a dream. True, it wasn't his dream, it was the king's dream, but God, who is the revealer of mysteries and the unlocker, the unlocker of mysteries, was able to do things in such a way so that Daniel could reach his full destiny. Now think of it this way. Sometimes we come across dreams that are like the next step to the next phase of our destiny. Whether it be given directly to us, or whether it be given to someone who is like in authority or someone connected to us, but who is very key to your destiny. It's a beautiful, what comes out is a beautiful exercise of seeking God. It's like, Lord, if you want me to continue on with my life, or you want me to go into the fullness of my destiny, then Lord, would you unlock this mystery in front of me? And come to think of it, God unlocking mysteries doesn't need to be God unlocking only the night parables. He can unlock any mystery in our lives if we go to Him and we ask Him sincerely, and we ask God, Lord, tell me what it is that you are trying to say. Teach me your ways. Teach me the next step. The Bible calls Jesus our good shepherd. So He is there to guide us along His paths of righteousness for His name's sake. And sometimes His paths of righteousness, they're not just all green valleys or still waters. No, part of the paths of righteousness is really going through these areas where the shadow of death comes upon the path. And yet it is in these areas, these dark moments of our lives, where God invites us to eat with Him. He invites us to have that fellowship, and during that time, what happens? We have our eyes locked onto each other, and we're able to know the secrets of each other's hearts, the mysteries of God's heart. So let us be seekers. Let us be seekers of God's heart. He alone can reveal the mysteries that are in front of us. So that's it. That's it. Gods give kings mysteries, but it's the delight of that He gives us to unravel, to unlock these things. So that's it. That's it for this episode of A Spoonful of Manna. I hope you enjoyed.